What's going on, guys? It is the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you an awesome video here. I am on Thanksgiving break now, so there will be daily uploads for the next few days until it goes back to the normal once-a-week style that I've been usually doing because of school and stuff. But now with Thanksgiving break, I'll be able to upload for every single day for the next about 5 days. So here we have the 10 most likely amusement parks to get a B&M in the next 3 years, and this is like United States and Canada only. I've excluded like Europe and China because those parts of the world are getting a ton of B&M coasters in the next few years, and America hasn't really gotten a new built up B&M since Valraven, and that was in 2016. And it's been a few seasons now, so I feel like there needs to be some new B&Ms coming in the next few years. These first 8 are kind of unlikely, but the final 2 are very likely. So number 10 is Holiday World, and they haven't gotten a new coaster since Thunderbird in 2015, which is pretty recent for them, as they don't really get new coasters often. But I feel like they are a park that's, even though they're already a very, very good park, I feel like roller coaster count-wise, they are going to be on the rise. And I feel like a sitting coaster would really fit their park pretty well. An invert will also be a solid addition. But I feel like a sitting coaster would be a great addition because they do need a coaster that you just have a normal sit-down ride, but you go upside down multiple times on it. But an invert's also a nice option as well for the next 3 years, if they needed to get a new coaster in the early 2020s or late 2010s. Number 9 is Six Flags Magic Mountain, and they need to get a new coaster soon. Eventually they will be overdue, but right now they are due for a new coaster, and for 2018 they are doing some nice improvements and getting a flat ride or two, but I feel like they need to get a dive coaster. I feel like 2018 is the year they're going to remove Viper, the Aero Custom Looper that goes upside down 7 times at their park, and replace it with a massive dive coaster that's in the 230-foot range, beating out Valraven's 220-foot height. So I feel like this would be a nice addition for Magic Mountain and would definitely make them one-up Cedar Point's Valraven. So moving on, we have Canada's Wonderland at number 8, and this is pretty likely. Out of all of them, I feel like they could get a wing coaster, but it should be a launched wing coaster in my opinion, because they do not have a launched coaster besides Backlot Stunt Coaster, and I know Backlot Stunt Coaster is a very underrated ride, and it's really good. I've ridden the Cologne at Kings Island, but I feel like they need a true wing coaster, a true launch coaster with a unique layout, and a launched wing coaster would provide the massive launch coaster they need and that new coaster and a pretty unique B&M to their B&M collection, because they already have a B&M Hyper and a Giga, so this would be something different that they would need. So number 7 is Six Flags Great America, and I feel like they could get a dive coaster in 2020 or 2021, maybe even 2019. But overall, I feel like a dive coaster would be a nice addition to Great America. This place, Great America, is landlocked, though, which they will have to remove some rides, but I feel like a dive coaster would be a great addition for Great America, as it would be in the 200-foot range, and it would be a very nice addition. Moving on to the next one, we go to another Great America park, California's Great America, owned by the Cedar Fair chain. So, yeah, everyone knew that. So, they are getting, in my opinion, I feel like they will get a hypercoaster in the next few years, but it seems unlikely they will get it in the next 2 years because they just got Railblazer, and that's an RMC coaster. So overall, I feel like California's Great America with a hypercoaster, I feel like it's most likely to come in 2021 if it was in the next 3 years. But I feel like maybe 2022 or 2023 is when they're going to get this coaster. So moving on to the next park, Busch Gardens Williamsburg. So I feel like they could get a wing coaster or a floorless coaster. These are two likely options. A flying coaster is another one I forgot to mention on here. But overall, I feel like a wing coaster would be a very nice addition to Busch Gardens Williamsburg and would provide a pretty unique experience compared to Griffin's ride experience. And even though that's a dive coaster with wing seating, wing coasters are known for going through keyhole elements and having a ton of inversions. So I feel like Busch Gardens Williamsburg needs a coaster that goes upside down countless times, and I feel like a wing coaster would fit very well there. And number 4 is another park that should get a wing coaster, Six Flags St. Louis, and I feel like they could get a wing coaster. It feels like the most likely option for Six Flags to do. I feel like B&M wing coasters are the candidate of coaster that jumps out at me for what amusement parks can get what, and I feel like wing coasters are the best investments for Six Flags to do with B&M. So moving on, we have number 3. This is a pretty likely option. We have King's Dominion with a flying or wing coaster, and I feel like 2021 could be a good year for this, 3 years after Hurler, and they haven't gotten a ground-up coaster yet, a ground-up coaster since 2010. I mean, Hurler counts as a new roller coaster, but it's getting the RMC treatment. That doesn't really count as a ground up. But it will still be a great addition, don't get me wrong. But they haven't really built a true ground up coaster since Intimidator 305, and that was in the beginning of the decade in 2010. So overall, I feel like a flying coaster would be a very nice addition. A wing coaster would also be a nice addition. And Cedar Fair hasn't added a flying coaster at all, so I feel like that would be a nice addition. Number 2 is Cedar Point, and I feel like this park is the most likely candidate to get a flying coaster. Cedar Point definitely will get a flying coaster in 2020, their 150th anniversary. I predict that they will remove Cedar Creek Mine Ride and replace it with this. The Cedar Creek Mine Ride, after a long 50-year stretch, I feel like Cedar Point will want to get a new massive coaster, like a new B&M, to complement their collection of rides. So I feel like this would be a very nice addition in 2020, and pretty likely as well, because Cedar Point gets new coasters every 2 to 3 years according to 2013 and beyond. So yeah, Kings Island is the number 1 option, and they will definitely get a Giga Coaster in the near future. 2021 seems like the most likely year to get one because they just got Mystic Timbers in 2017, and they're going to have an off year, maybe the next 2 years, but I feel like 2020 will be a big year. 2021 will be the big year for Kings Island, getting that Giga Coaster. And yeah, that will be it for this video. Which amusement parks are most likely to get B&M in the next few years that are in the United States or Canada? I really hope 2019 we see the return of B&M to the United States. So yeah, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.